Hi, friends. I was just reading to my kids, putting them to bed, and I had this thought that I should share some of the thoughts I've had on my mind lately over the weekend and some of the things I've been learning, life lessons I've had through some discouraging times and some difficult, well, not terribly difficult. I mean, some people are going through much harder things, but just some lessons I've been learning on a Facebook Live, which was kind of terrifying because I've tried doing a couple of these before and they never turn out good. I always get so nervous and my mind goes blank. And as people start tuning in, I just get so nervous. But I keep having this recurring thought lately when I don't want to do something that makes me uncomfortable is just that it's not about you, and just get out of your comfort zone and do something that might be helpful. And so I'm hoping this is helpful to someone um, as I share some of these things. So interesting weekend. I got to speak at the Winter Homeschool Conference, and the topics I talked about were how to um, how to follow your or how to find your life work, and then how to engage your kids so that they want to find theirs as well was another topic, and something I feel really excited about, and something that I enjoy speaking about. So I was excited to do that. But as the time got closer, I kind of felt there was this opportunity to get a booth, be a vendor there. And I didn't think I needed to do that, but the thought kept like reoccurring to me. And I was like, well, maybe I should just go ahead and try. So I worked really hard to get some things ready so that I could sell them there. Well, my book, I kind of pushed really hard to get that Foundations book ready, and did quite a few things to kind of make sure that happened. And it was kind of a sacrifice. It kind of stressed me out, especially the last week before the conference. It was a lot of getting ready, the speeches and things like that, and definitely not comfortable. But we went, and um, it, my mind's going blank again. See, I don't like these Facebook Lives. But um, so we went, and the speaking part was good. I enjoyed that part. My mind didn't go blank. I think it's easier there because I can see people's eyes, and it's a lot more easy to speak to people when you can see them. But the booth was a little bit, I guess it was disappointing because well, for one thing, it wasn't in a very good spot. But the other, I spent quite a bit of money on it, and I didn't sell all that much. And so in the end, it was like negative $160 profit or something like that. And so towards the end of the day, I was sitting there thinking, like, why did I feel like I had to do this? And then even just in general, like, why am I, working so hard on this website and or in the website I have and working to get these things out if people don't seem all that interested, right? Like, is that even doing any good? And have I been just thinking I'm inspired and then really kind of just um, being hopeful that this is going to be good for people? And so I was thinking these thoughts towards the end of the day. And I mean, it was really nice. My husband came and helped me with the booth while I was speaking. So my older kids did as well. So I had my three teens there helping me. And it was a good bonding experience. But I kind of just questioned. I felt a little bit discouraged just because of all the sacrifice that went into getting there. And as I was thinking these thoughts, I got out my journal because that's what I do when I'm like confused about what's going on, and just started writing down some of the feelings I had, some of the thoughts that I had about the discouragement and the setbacks I'd been having. And maybe, is it time to give this up? Maybe I learned my lesson and it's time to move on. Um, Several thoughts came to my mind as I was writing. One of them that was that it doesn't have to, I mean, there were people that came up and told me that the things I said and were really helpful to them. So, even if it helped one person, that it's worth the sacrifice. If it helped them enough, right? But the other thought was that when we have something we feel really inspired to do or something we really want to help people with, I've read stories about this, and none of them start off easy. People always struggle at first, even throughout the whole time. The struggle is part of it, and discouragement is part of it, and we learn through these things and we grow, and that is a good thing. And so just different stories came to my mind about people who had struggled at first but just kept going, and the reason that they were able to succeed in the end is because they didn't give up. And so it made me think, well, I can't give up yet. I got to keep going. This is just the beginning. And then the other thought I had was that I knew I was inspired to be there, and I knew that um, that I couldn't deny some of the things that had happened that got me involved in all of this, writing the book and doing the courses and the different things I've been trying to do. There's a lot of um, just experiences that I had that I knew that it was right and good to do. So that gave me a lot of peace because I knew that I was trying, and I know that God is good. And when we're really trying to be inspired, even if we sometimes make mistakes about it, He'll tutor us along the way and help us know how to hear Him and how to move forward. And so we will make mistakes, and um, sometimes we'll need to make those in order to learn what we needed to learn, and that's a good thing. And so that was another comforting thought. And so yesterday was my son's birthday, and he turned 18. He's my second child that's grown into adulthood. And it was kind of one of those reflective times as I kind of looked at what um, what he's learned and what is important in life. And just how nothing replaces um, the work I do at home. That's the most important work I can do. And, and, um, and if that's not a priority, then none of this other stuff is going to go well. So I've got to make sure that I keep my priorities in order and just do this when I feel is right. So initially, when I first started, I felt like I gotta, before the kids wake up, I can spend a couple hours a day on this and then just dedicate the rest of my time to making sure that I focus on them and on the things we gotta do as a family. And so I woke up this morning. I was like, okay, well, the homeschool conference is over. I can focus on my kids now. I can kind of take a little break and breathe a little and get back to this and the pattern I had before, where I would only spend a couple hours a day. But then I was going to do this little webinar. One of the things I learned at the homeschool conference was that the people who bought my book were the people that heard me speak. And I think that's because a lot of people don't realize what it's about or how much it can help them unless they hear something about it. And so I thought, well, I should make a little webinar so people understand what it's about and whether or not they want to do it. So I was going to do that this morning. And the tech issues came up, and there was so much stuff I didn't know, and then just these dead ends that I kept running into. And I kept wanting to fix it, right? I was like, I'll just fix this one thing. So I would take breaks and I would do the things I needed to do with my kids, our devotional and all our meals, or my little boy is potty training right now, so he wouldn't make me take breaks often, so I could take him to the bathroom because he gets gassy and thinks he needs to go to the bathroom. So there's plenty of breaks there. But I wasn't focused on them. My heart was somewhere else, trying to get this tech stuff figured out. And towards the end of the day, I just felt so frustrated because I didn't do what I wanted to do. I didn't focus on the things I felt I should focus on. I got caught up in this. I got to fix this, and I'm almost there. And if I do this one more little thing, right? And that's one of the things that I talk a lot about in my book and in my course, is that if our priorities are right, then things work out. But I wasn't listening to that. I kept thinking I could just hurry and fix it and have something work out. So I was frustrated myself, and I was feeling a little bit off this evening and just, again, discouraged, like, am I ever going to get this right? And I don't want to neglect my family. And why do I keep, or why, this last week I felt like I was doing that, and then again today, and how can I make sure that I stop and just trust God, because He knows what I'm capable of, and He knows how much time I have, and I know I've experienced it over and over again. I mean, the only reason I've been able to write a book with 8 kids and homeschooling and everything else and do these courses is because I've followed in faith those principles, that if you put your family first, put God first, and then your family, and then the creative work that you feel inspired to do. Because I think that's also part of parenthood, right? Is for our kids to see that we're trying to use our gifts and talents to bless the world so that they can be inspired to do the same. But it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been following these principles, because I just know that I wouldn't have had the spirit and the inspiration to do things as quickly as I've been able to do them, and as focused as I've been able to. So I know the principles work, but sometimes it's hard to follow them when you just want to do it yourself, right? Or just get it done, or think, or I just put too much weight on my own shoulders. and think that I can push through. And when that starts happening is when days don't go so well, and when I end up feeling kind of frustrated and not happy at the end of the day, which was what happened today. And so I guess my thoughts as I went into this Facebook Live and the things I wanted to share was, one, don't get discouraged when things aren't going as well as you think. That there's always a lesson, and that we can move forward in the lesson that we learn from our mistakes and our setbacks. And they are the path to get there. They're not detours. Sometimes we like to think, oh, it's a detour, and I'm on the right path. No, they are the path. The mistakes lead us and teach us, and they get us there. And so that was a valuable lesson for me this week, and a reminder that that's the truth. And then also that it's important to just look for the one, not think that we have to make a huge impact everywhere, but to be happy when we are able to influence one person with our efforts. And that's how real change happens, is by thinking about the one person that we're helping. And then the next thing, like I said, was to put our priorities in order, because when we're trying to take control or do it all ourselves, things don't really go well. But when we trust God that He will make things happen, if we do what we feel inspired to do, put our priorities where we feel inspired to put them, that He'll help things work out. And somehow it happens. I've seen it over and over in my life, and I don't know why I keep kind of going back sometimes, like today, trying to do it myself. But I know eventually things will work out. And sometimes I feel like I have this deadline, right? Because I got email addresses at this thing, and I was like, okay, I gotta make sure I get this email done, and I gotta get this webinar done before I forget everything I said. I already have the slideshow. I gotta change those little, but I don't want to forget it. I gotta get that done today. So I put these deadlines on myself instead of trusting God that it will happen in His time. And if it's not working out, the techie or whatever, I can just take a break and maybe get ideas as I go through my day about, this is what always happens. I'll get ideas as I go through my day doing the things I ought to be doing. I'll get inspiration, and then I'll be able to move forward instead of trying to force it myself. It's a principle I know is true. And then the last thing was just, I guess I've been feeling like I need to ask for help. I'm trying to, share this message that I feel is really helpful to people. There's a lot of people who feel like I guess it's the struggles. I just see so many people struggling. My kids' friends, or my family members, or even my own family and myself, and I see these struggles, and some of them are really intense. And I know that there's this battle raging all around us, right, between light and darkness, and we're all in this struggle. And for some of us, it's really hard. And I feel like we live in a world of distraction, where we kind of just distract ourselves from those struggles, or the things we could do to help those around us who are struggling. And we don't do all of the good that we could do. People suffer when we distract ourselves, because we're not using our gifts and talents to help them the way we're meant to help them. And so I just think it's an important message, because I do know that each person has unique gifts and talents to bless the world in their unique way, that nobody else can fill that role. And there's a way to get there. Like, there's a way to discover what those are, and there's a way to be able to start blessing the world with them, and sometimes we feel lost and we're not sure where to start. And that's what I'm trying to teach and get the message out about, that there is, that we do have those, and that we can find them, and we can do something good with them. And so that's what the book is about, or the program I'm trying to get going. And I guess where I need help is, I've got the longer book, the program book written, the one that's like that takes you through the whole step by step. This is how you find your work, your life work. I wrote the foundations book, which is kind of the foundation and how you get going and how you receive inspiration and be guided to what that is, which I think is really important, and would be a really important thing for people to read about, just even if they only do that. But if they want to keep moving forward and clearing out the areas in their life that, I guess, seeing how a certain area in their life is keeping them back or moving them forward, and how to make sure that that area is in alignment with their goals and their vision and the work they're meant to do, and kind of going through that cleansing process and that focus process. This book I've already got it written, but I want to make sure that it's in the format that would be most helpful to people. So right now I've kind of tweaked some things. I've gone through the course a couple of times with people, and I've tweaked things every time. But I kind of have it in a new format now, and I'd really like to see if it is helpful before I go ahead and pay for a professional editor and try to get it out there. And so the thought I had after the homeschool conference was that, what if I just get a group of people who are willing to try it, give me feedback on it, and I'll just do like a coaching group. Now, I don't know, maybe it'll be a Facebook group or something, where people pay $5 per month as they go. They can do it at their own pace, but as they go, they give me feedback on the things they're learning or how it went or how I could phrase something better or things that don't make sense so that I can start refining it. And so you're helping me make this something that will help more people, because, sometimes I have blind spots and I don't see, or I don't have your experience, and I'm not sure um, where the miscommunication may come in and things. And so um, if you are interested in helping me with that, and I know it'll bless your life too, I'll just send a couple of chapters from the book each, um, like every couple of weeks or something, and you can go through them, see how they help you, give me feedback, and then eventually I'll have the book. I really hope to have it finished by the end of the summer, hopefully towards the beginning of the summer. I don't like deadlines, but at the same time, one of the thoughts I've had recently as I was thinking about deadlines and not liking them was that I felt an urgency to get this book into the hands of my own kids because I see how much it's needed, and that other people probably have that same urgency with their kids. And I mean, it's not a youth book or anything. It's for people who have a desire to make a difference in the world. So some youth do, and I think that it would be a great book for them. It's for adults as well. But that desire I had for my children to have it, I think other people probably need it for themselves and for their children. And so I guess that's why I have the urgency and why sometimes I get so caught up in trying to get things done instead of just trusting God that He will help me. But um, so I kind of have to balance that desire to have it ready as soon as possible with God's timing and making sure that it's um, that I'm doing my part in making that happen, but not taking it all on myself. So if you're interested in helping me with that, I think I'll probably put some kind of on my website at warrioreducation.com. I will put it under group coaching, and it'll just be $5 a month. It's not a huge investment or anything, but it'll probably help me set off some of the costs because, I'd love to do it for free, but the website costs money and different things that I'm kind of taking out of my family's budget. And I don't think that's always, I mean, they're willing to sacrifice for it and stuff too, but I think as we help each other that things will go better. So it's minimal cost just to get me um, going on it. You'll be helping me, and then I can be helping you as well. So I guess that's the last thing. I just need a chance for help, and if anybody's willing to help me, I want to get this going as soon as possible. So just maybe leave a comment in the bottom, and I'll send you an email about it, or you can get on the website. And I still haven't figured out how to do those payments, so maybe don't get on the website. Maybe just leave a comment. When I figure it out, I can help you. I just redid the website, so if you haven't looked at it, you should go look at it. It's really cute. My sister-in-law designed it. She's amazing, and Jay Waite from my board kind of coded it and put it together. So I'm just grateful for all the help I've had so far, but I know I need a little bit more because, for one thing, of course, I'm raising 8 children, so time is very limited, but also because I think it's a work that is beyond me, and the more people that can help me, the better it will be, and the more inspiration we'll receive together. So, leave me a comment, let me know, and thanks for listening, and tuning in. And if you have any questions about any of it, please leave them in the comments as you watch this, and I'll come back and answer them. I just downloaded the Facebook app on my phone again. I had it off for a while because it was distracting, but I have it now, so I'll get your comments and I'll try to make sure. I think now I'm busy enough or dedicated enough to this that this Facebook doesn't distract me as much. I have definitely think some priorities that are set in order, and so anyway, I think I can handle it. We'll see. But um, yeah, thanks for listening. I think that's all I had to say, and have a good night or day if you're listening to this in the morning, and talk to you later.